A judge says it's lucky no one died after a 27-year-old fired shots in a busy Grand Island neighborhood.
Now the man convicted of the crime learns he'll spend decades behind bars and more prison time is coming. Steve White joins us live from outside the Hall County Courthouse. And Steve, this is for a shooting and the same guy is implicated in an escape and standoff.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. Tyler Manka went to the hospital the weekend after he was convicted in this shooting case. Police say at that time he escaped and took a man hostage. Now, in the eyes of the law, those cases are separate. However, it helps us understand why Manka was not physically present in the courtroom here today. Manka said very little as he took part in the sentencing through a video link from the state prison in Tecumseh. He gave up his right to be in court just days after he was in court in person related to the escape. The county attorney says at that time Manka was restrained. Prosecutors say when it came time to bring him back to Grand Island, he chose to stay in prison, and they didn't argue. Judge Andrew Butler found him to be a habitual criminal with a history of violence and said it's lucky nobody died, an assessment shared by prosecutors.
Some of the witnesses that we had testified talked about bullets whizzing by their head. Now, the judge didn't mention that specifically, but yes, officers could have been hurt. Lucas Galusha was hurt. Those people in that car could have been hurt, but we also could have lost some truly innocent civilians just for the recklessness of those shots being fired.
Now, the state-appointed defense attorney said Manka suffers from schizoaffective disorder. He pushed for a 20-year term and said he needs treatment, including meds, to manage his mental illness. Judge Butler said Manka is a danger and high risk in nearly every category. The sentence results in 45 actual years behind bars.
Yeah, I think that we are all going to be safer with Mr. Manka not out and about the streets. He's proven over a number of times that he's just dangerous, physically violent to folks when he's on the streets, and this was probably the right result.
As we mentioned, following his conviction for the shooting, Manka was then involved in a standoff with a hostage. That was the last weekend in March. Police say he was taken to a hospital for a medical treatment and escaped the custody of corrections officers, and he is set to go on trial for that later this summer. We reached out to the corrections director to see if there's any comment on the investigation they had done internally into the circumstances around that escape, and the jail director said he was not able to share anything more at this time.
Steve White live in Grand Island, and thank you for your continued coverage on this story, Steve.